Yo, what's up everybody, Swillow here, and today we have our next character guide for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Today we're going to be going over Zelda with the Bow of Light. So this is a highly requested character, and I do have a couple of cool things to show off with her, so let's check it out. First up we have the Y string. So her Y string doesn't move a lot, and this actually works in her favor because her attacks have good range on them. So since she doesn't move a lot, this allows her to stay comfortably outside of the attack range of some enemies and deal good damage. Next, we're going to go in here and show it off against the mob. So as you can see there, like, she's got a lot of stuff going on during her Y string. She has a lot of properties where she's going to gather enemies up. She's got some crowd control, a lot of range projectile options, and you can also see that she puts these rings around the enemy. Certain attacks in her kit will do this, and what this does is when the enemies have the ring around them, that's going to deal increased damage. So definitely try to, before you go into some of your strongest stuff, try to make sure that you have a ring on the enemy. Next, let's look at our dash attacks. We have the running Y. Running Y is pretty simple, nothing impressive. Just a little kind of like a little sweeping attack. Next we have the dash X. So the dash X is actually really cool. Like, it'll kind of vacuum the enemies in and then release an exploding mine. And it can also put the ring around enemies. So this is actually a really good way to initiate enemies by just running in there and throwing this on them. And you're going to get a ring on the enemy right away. Really cool move. Next we have YX, or actually just X. So X is another really nice move. It's just a really quick burst attack. It will put the ring around the enemies if they don't have it around them. It's really good for just chipping the enemy out at a comfortable range. Like you can see, I can just sit over here outside of his attack range and I can just chip him out. Really nice. Like, this is actually a really good attack. Next we have the YX. So YX is pretty cool. It actually has a lot of crowd control in it, despite being like more of the launcher input. And of course you can see she rises off the ground, so she will be in an airborne state. And you can do all of your air attacks. She's got her YYY into X, so the X being the little arrow shot at the end. And then the Y string is being like a little combination attack. Pretty good. Of course you can hit weak points with that as well, so you can see like I can hit this enemy's weak point. Really nice actually. So I'd say the whole effect of this attack just being like a nice opener and then going into the air strings actually makes this a really good combination to use. Next we have YYX. So YYX is a really nice move. It's fast, it does decent damage, good crowd control. It's going to put the ring around the enemy. If you don't hit an enemy with it, you're just going to leave a mine or a little symbol that will detonate after a while. If you use it directly on an enemy, it's going to detonate instantly, so you just get that quick burst of damage. Really good move. Next we have YYYX. So this, she's going to shoot the arrow in the air and it's going to rain down. Now these arrows, like a lot of these types of attacks, depending on where they hit is what's going to get hit. So against smaller body enemies like this moblin, he's not going to get hit as much as bigger bodies like Hinox. So definitely, I think this move works a lot better on big body enemies, and on smaller enemies it's kind of okay, but there's better options in my opinion. And also this attack is not going to put the ring around the enemy. So definitely make sure that you're putting the ring around the enemy with some other attack before you go into this one. And next up we have Y times 4 into X. This is like my favorite attack from her. So she's going to throw out this little ball. It's just going to sit there. It's going to deal a little bit of damage over time before it finally detonates for a big burst of damage. Really good attack. And I'm definitely going to show you some cool setups with it later. So let's hit him with it. You can see how much damage this is going to deal. Pretty nice. It's going to put the ring around the enemy. And of course, while that's out there, you can just be doing whatever. You can be going in with an assortment of other attacks. So it works really well for what it does. Next we have Y times 5 into X. Try not to get hit here. So this, she's going to shoot this beam forward, and this attack is kind of crazy. Like, this attack hits really far. It's also going to expose the weak point. So you can get some follow-ups after that. Definitely like one of her best attacks. The only thing is that it's the last string and it has a slow startup. So it may be hard to get out in certain situations. However, the range on it lets you set it up from incredible distances, because this is just going to go forever, pretty much. It feels like really good move. Next, we have the Sheikah slate abilities. So first we have the bomb. She's going to throw out the bomb, and it's going to detonate, and then afterwards you'll see like a little bit of holy light detonate. Next we have magnesis, if we can get it to work. Alright, so magnesis, she's just going to suck things in and then make an explosion of holy light there, and that can put rings around enemies. Next we have cryo. So she's going to put the blocks out, and then she's going to actually destroy them herself. You can dash cancel before she destroys them, of course, so you can keep them on the field, and you can use them. Okay, well, that was pretty interesting. So I managed to jump off of it, even though I kind of destroyed it. But there we go. We dash cancel before she destroys them. You can even destroy some of them and then dash cancel, but that timing on that is super strict. Like, it's not consistent. And then, of course, we have her stasis. So her stasis is interesting because for most characters, stasis is how you're going to start a combo, right? But for her, it's how she's going to end a combo. And the reason for this, there's two reasons for this. One, she can't dash cancel her stasis, which is a big, unfortunate thing. However, her stasis deals insane weak point damage. Like, this thing can almost fully smash a weak point on its own. So let's just look at it real quick. So what she's going to do, she's going to freeze the enemy, and then you can mash Y. And she'll put up a bunch of orbs or holy arrows or holy light arrows or whatever, and then she'll launch them all at the enemy. Now this deals great damage, but more importantly is it deals crazy weak point damage. So once the enemy's weak point is exposed, like, you can just shatter that thing pretty instantly. Let me kill this guy and bring him back so that he'll have a fresh weak point gauge. So if we expose his weak point gauge here and then we use it, so look at that. That just deals like a nice sizable chunk of the weak point gauge. Really good. Really, really good. Next, let's look at her unique action. So her unique action is something that really, really changes up her playstyle a lot. What you're going to do is you're going to press ZR and you're going to go into this floating stance. Now there's a lot of things that go on in this stance. First off, you have like a different form of movement. She just sort of floats. She gets like a really, really fast step here. While you're in this stance, her special bar is going to drain, so you have to be mindful of that. And also, as you can see here, I can get hit, and you do still take damage, but you will not stagger. So that means you can just attack relentlessly without worrying about being flinched or knocked out of your attacks. So let's look at her options while she's in this. Basically, while she's in this form, or this stance, she's able to use all of her charge attacks instantly, or her strong attacks. So if I press Y, I'm going to use that. That's her Y times 3 into X attack, where she launches the arrow in the air and it comes down. If I press X, she's going to do her YX attack. If I hold ZL and then I press Y, she's going to do her Y times 5 into X attack. That really, really strong ray of light. You can just like spam this like crazy in this mode. It's actually insane. And then if you do ZL, hold ZL and press X, she's going to launch the little Y times 4 into X attack. This is like my favorite attack, and this is actually, so I tested all of these attacks, like just spamming them and seeing which move can kill enemies the quickest, and this is the move that can kill enemies the quickest. When I did like a stopwatch test, this attack was able to kill this moblin at full health in around 15 seconds. Whereas the next strongest attack was going to be this one, the Y times 5 into X. This was able to kill the moblin in like 19, 18 seconds. So it's actually like a pretty sizable difference, I feel. All the other attacks took like around well over 20 seconds. But yeah, this attack, if you're just looking for your single strongest damage option that you can just churn out, this is the one. And then of course the next one is going to be this one. Now obviously I would say her ZL into Y is better in general because it's just so fast and it goes so much further. So you can like use this in better situations for crowd control, whereas the this attack is more focused on like a single target. I mean, it can do crowd control, but it's slower, it's more focused, so it's not like you should just only use this attack. It just depends on the situation. Each attack can have its own uses and benefits. So one thing with her ZR, what you can do is you can cancel into it, right? So if I do like YYX and then I can cancel into it, let the attack actually come out first, then I can cancel into it and go into stuff. So this makes her stance sort of like a good combo tool. It allows you to put an attack out and then you can cancel and then go into another attack super quickly. So this allows you to pile attacks on. Now, once you're in this stance, you cannot cancel out of it as easily. You can't just press ZR again and go back to the ground. Like, you have to actually finish the whole entire attack animation before you can actually, like, cancel out of this stance. The only way to truly cancel out of this is with resource options. So resource options would be using, like, your actual stasis attack. That'll cancel out of it and put you back in a grounded stance. You can use, like, your special, of course. You can use an item, like item rod or whatever. So all those different options will cancel out of the stance and put you back on the ground. But you can cancel into it very freely without high commitment. You just cannot cancel out of it without using like a high commitment tool. Otherwise, you just have to let the attack finish and then press ZR and then go back to the ground normally. So now I'm going to show you some cool setups. First, let me just show off a combo. I want to just show it to you first, and then I'm going to talk about it. Let's see if this guy lets me do it. I know he's going to make me work for this one. And there we go. Yo, so that combo right there, oh, I love it so much. I love it. So this combo right here is really strong, looks pretty cool, and it uses pretty much every unique option she has in her kit. So I highly suggest you practice this combo, because if you can execute this combo, you can understand all of the concepts of her gameplay. So first, let me explain what I was doing. First, I'm using the YYX, or the Y times 4 into X. So this is the move where she throws the bomb out and then it detonates after a while. What I'm gonna do, the reason I'm starting with this is because since this detonates after a while, I can set up other stuff ahead of time. So what you see when I throw this attack out, I'm gonna instantly cancel into a rod attack. So the reason I do this is because before this bomb actually detonates, the rod is going to hit the enemy. The rod attack is going to hit the enemy. It's going to expose his weak point, so that once the bomb does finally detonate, the enemy's weak point gauge will be exposed and he'll be hit hard right from the start. So after I'm using this rod, the next attack I'm going to follow up with is the YYX attack. So after doing the so first off, I'm using the YYX attack because it's one of the fastest, strongest attacks I can get out before the weak point gauge disappears. Now, before the weak point gauge disappears, I can fit in just a couple more quick options. And after doing YYX, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ZR cancel into her float stance. So I ZR cancel. After ZR canceling, I'm going to use the ZLY attack. That's like the Holy Ray, Light Arrow, whatever attack. So this is a pretty fast, high damage attack. That's the reason I'm choosing it, because it comes out very quickly. After doing this attack, I'm going to cancel into stasis quickly, and stasis is going to be our combo finisher. And then from there, we just mash Y, and that's it. The enemy's weak point gauge is broken. After the enemy's weak point gauge is broken, you can follow up and hit him with more really strong attacks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up, because I don't want to weak point smash him on accident. If you're already far enough back, then you don't have to worry about this. If not, just do a quick back step by pressing X. I'm going to press ZR, and I'm going to be in my floating stance. And then what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to hold ZL, and I'm just going to mash out the X attack. I can do this about 5 times before he'll recover. And then I'll dash in and hit him with the weak point smash before it wears off. So you can do that comfortably about 5 times before you need to dash in. If you're like really, really optimal, you can fit like 6 of them in. But if you do 7, you're probably not going to get the follow-up unless it's just timed and set up so perfectly. But 5 is comfortable. 6 is if you're really feeling yourself. 7 is like, I haven't been able to get 7 to work yet. But that's it for that combo. Like, it's a really cool combo. It does really good damage. And like I said, if you practice that combo, you're going to understand the fundamentals of her, the way she works as a character. Next, I'm going to show you another pretty simple but strong setup, and this is using her Y times 5 into X. This is going to open the weak point gauge, right? And this setup is important to know because, you know, she cannot stasis enemies with the same expectations. However, you can still stasis enemies and get some really big reward off of it. So here we go. Or maybe not. So I can go into stasis after this. And then you can just do like a Y attack or something. Just a little bit. Like the weak point gauge will not stay up long after you hit him with the stasis. But it'll stay up long enough just to chip it out and finish it. So you can see I was able to get like a full weak point smash there. Just doing the Y times 5 into X instantly into stasis. And that's kind of what you would do for other characters. But I guess for other characters, it's different because then you're going to follow up differently. Here, you can just go straight into that, and that becomes a very strong, sustaining combo in its own right. You can squeeze in like an X. You could do like Y times 5 into X, and then go into stasis if you want to be like super crazy, technical, or optimal. But it's the timing's like pretty strict on it. Let me see if I can do it. It's a lot easier if you guard cancel. And then you can go into stasis. I already weak point smash him, so you're not going to get the proper effect here, but you can do that. Like Y times 5 into X, and then you can do the X, this attack right here, and then you can go into stasis to squeeze just a tiny bit more damage out of that setup. Anyways, that's basically it. I hope this guide was helpful to you. Definitely practice that setup I talked about. And let me know if you have any cool tricks that maybe I didn't go over in this guide. I actually want to hear your setups because honestly, each video, I've been reading all the comments and you guys have some really cool tips as well. Like, this game's still new and a lot of these characters I haven't actually explored fully and completely. However, I'm really just taking advantage of the fact that I've been playing Musou games for so long that I have like a good idea of how to learn things quickly. So, you know, like for this character, I have not played this character a lot. However, I just sat down and I quickly dissected this character from like just my cumulative Musou knowledge, my Musou warrior game knowledge. So definitely share setups with me if you know anything cool, and I hope I was able to teach you guys some stuff about this character. I know this character plays just a bit different from other characters, so I know people were kind of confused. When I first picked this character up, I was definitely kind of confused on what I should be focusing on, how I should be using her ZR and stuff like that. But once you break it down, like, she's a super fun character, and the thing I really like about her is that she doesn't really have to play the same way as other characters. Like, she doesn't have to worry about weak point smashes as much. She doesn't have to worry about like the standard defense options. She can sort of play her own game, and she can build her own damage in a unique way, and she can play defensive in a unique way. Anyways, that's it. Thank you all for watching. Peace.